Hello everyone, this is Little Black Dragon, and you are watching another installment of Let's Play Fire Emblem Three Houses. In our last installment, we were walking around the Officers' Academy, having Boudica introduce herself to the various students of the three houses. We talked to Edelgard and Claude about the Black Eagles and the Golden Deer, and while we've introduced ourselves to the students of the Blue Lions, we have yet to talk to Prince Dmitry to have more of an in-depth explanation. So without further ado, let us go do that. Hello, Dmitry, it is good to see you again.
Please accept my apologies for the other day. You came to our aid, yet I hadn't even the courtesy to properly introduce myself.
It's okay, dude. I mean, I didn't properly introduce myself either. My name's Boudica.
I am Dimitri Alexandra Blathid, Crown Prince of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus.
A pleasure.
Of course, at the Academy, I am simply a student. And I've heard word that you are to become a professor here.
That is correct, and I'm glad that Manuela at least told the house leaders. I'm already pissed off as it is that she didn't tell everybody else, because that was completely unnecessary.
Delightful news. I still have much to learn, but I'm confident I could benefit greatly from your guidance.
Oh, well, I appreciate it, and I'm glad you are so enthusiastic about me becoming a professor at Garrick Mach.
In any case, welcome to the monastery.
Thank you.
I hear you're investigating the different houses here. Did any of the Blue Lions catch your attention?
Why, yes they did. Could you tell me more about them? Why don't we start with you?
Me? Oh, please forgive me. It's difficult to open up on the spot, don't you think?
Oh, well, that's fair. Sorry to put you on the spot there like that.
I'm afraid my story has not been a pleasant one. I do hope that doesn't color your view of me, but I understand if that can't be helped.
Oh, Dmitry. Let's see. You're very good with melee weapons, except for axes, it seems. And your stats would very much reflect that. And just like the other lords, you have a special ability that gives you more experience points. You know what, I haven't been doing this the entire time, but let's try the swap display option. Aw, look at that smile. Anyway, let us move on to Dedoo.
Dedoo was born in Dusker, and has been loyally working in my service for the past 4 years. He's rather taciturn, but once you get to know him, you'll see he's a kind and good-natured young man.
Oh, that's good. He does seem like a nice guy, based on what I had in the conversation with him a little bit earlier. Let's see, he's also a melee-oriented character, it seems like, and he's good with heavy armor, so it seems like he's probably going to be a tank/brawly type of character. Which is good to know. But if I remember correctly, the Blue Lions are more melee-oriented characters in general, so that makes sense. Although it's interesting to note, he definitely does not like mounted combat of any kind. So, something to keep in mind. Let's see, what about Felix?
Felix is the heir to House Fraldarius. He has a bit of a sharp tongue, but don't let that fool you. Deep down, he's a good guy. He gravitates toward people who are skilled. Perhaps you would enjoy a friendly competition with him sometime.
Maybe so. I think it's very interesting that each of the different lords or house leaders has a way of speaking about the compatriots in their houses differently. Like, with Edelgard, she has a more detached way of talking about them, like she's never actually really interacted with the other members of her house. Dmitry, on the other hand, seems to really be trying to sell you on the other members of his house, like, yes, they're all great and wonderful and awesome. And then Claude, some of them he definitely has a tendency to roast and or point out the less than sterling parts of their character, but he also is not shying away from talking about, oh yeah, so-and-so seems to be a decent person, or he's honest when he says, oh, I don't know much about this person, like Marianne and whatnot. Anyway, Felix is good with swords, bows, and brawling, but not good with authority or reason. An interesting combination. And his ability is tied to battalions, which a few other characters are, which is a new thing they added in the Fire Emblem games that wasn't a thing in previous entries, and I think it's actually a really great addition. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm blabbering when I should be moving on. So next we have Ash.
He's the adoptive son of Lord Lenato of Castle Gaspar, but I hear he was born a commoner. He has an extremely earnest personality, so I'm certain he will approach your lectures with great enthusiasm.
And Ash is a character I managed to recruit on my first Golden Deer playthrough, and let me tell you, he is one of my favorite characters in the entire game. He's just such a sweet guy and super nice, and he's also a really, really great unit in combat, and it's really cool that his personal ability is actually lockpick, so you can put him in any class you want, and he can still unlock chests and doors and stuff like that, which provides him great utility. And as you can see, he doesn't have a lot of strengths, but he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses either, which is very good to keep in mind. Let's see. Anything else to note? He has pretty rounded stats in the beginning. Anyway, let's see. Next we have Sylvain.
Sylvain is the heir to House Gautier. He is a capable person who highly values his friends. That said, well, he's always been a bit of a skirt chaser, so to speak. Pardon my bluntness. I speak with him about it often, but it doesn't seem to help.
I see. Well, I appreciate your honesty in the matter, and I also appreciate that you are making efforts to try and talk to him about this issue, even if it doesn't seem to be helping. Let's see. Sylvain is good with lances and axes and riding, but not good with bows, so he's probably a mounted unit person, but probably not a flyer and more cavalier type stuff. And he also has pretty rounded stats as well, although it's interesting to note he has slightly higher strength and speed, so he's probably going to be one of those units you want to attack fast and attack hard before having him go somewhere else. Anyway, next we have Merced.
I hear she was born to imperial nobility, but a twist of fate brought her to the kingdom.
Interesting.
She may seem carefree on the surface, but she's actually a kind soul who pays careful attention to everyone around her.
Aww. And I actually really, really like her design, too. She's one of those characters where aesthetically she just really looks cool to me. And she is obviously a mage based on her personal ability and the fact that she's good with both types of magic, and she's not really good with any melee arts of any kind or heavy armor. And her stats definitely reflect that. And next we have Annette.
Annette is Baron Dominic's niece. She is a talented student who scored extremely high marks at the Royal School of Sorcery. She's cheerful and hardworking. Brilliant, really. Though she can be a bit oblivious at times. I hear she caused an explosion in the kitchen last night.
Oh dear. Still, she sounds like a great person. And based on her stats and the fact she's good in reason magic, she's probably pretty good with, more offensive spells. And it seems she's also good with axes, which is rather interesting, but she's not good with archery or heavy armor, so it seems like she has the potential to branch out into interesting directions, but it does seem like offensive magic is her specialty. And last but not least, we have Ingrid.
Ingrid is Count Galatia's daughter. She is also a childhood friend of Felix, Sylvain, and myself.
I see.
She is diligent, industrious, and principled. In truth, she is more knightly than most knights you will ever meet.
I see. So very much a paladin-like character. It's interesting to note she doesn't have any weaknesses, although she's not the first character we've come across who doesn't have weaknesses. Ferdinand doesn't have weaknesses, and if I remember correctly, there's someone in the Golden Deer who doesn't have any weaknesses. I think Leone? I'll need to double check over my videos and see that again. But she is good with forms of melee combat as well as both types of mounted combat. So she probably would be best going into, say, a Pegasus Knight or some kind of cavalry class. Good to know. And let's see. She's also got a decent amount of strength and speed, but her res is high, so yeah, that is kind of telling me that Pegasus Knight seems like her natural inclination, since, for those of you who aren't super familiar with Fire Emblem, Pegasus Knights are offensive cavalry type units that can move over all sorts of terrain since they're flying, and because they usually have good scores that make them good against mages, they're sort of your natural go-to for countering magic units. Anyway, I think that's all we have to say here. And I think that concludes talking to the three house leaders.
I appreciate your effort.
Indeed, we now have a notification that the quest is complete, and we now have a sword, a vulnerary, which is a healing potion, and 500 gold. And so, our first quest is complete. I suppose I should return to Raya. I think we've talked to everybody, and I don't think there's anything else we need to do, so I'm gonna have us return to the audience chamber.
How are you enjoying your time at the Academy thus far? I hope you have found our halls brimming with the vitality of well-intentioned souls.
I suppose it is time for you to take charge of one of our three houses of students.
I guess so.
I must note that I am personally against entrusting someone as lacking in trackable history as yourself with such a task. But it is as the Archbishop desires.
Well, I think you are right to be cautious in such a matter, and unfortunately, the Archbishop has the final say in this case, but, basically what I'm trying to say is I agree with you, but plot. Anyway.
The Black Eagles, the Blue Lions, and the Golden Deer. All so different. I hope you've made it a point to get to know each of them.
Why, yes, I did, and in fact, I did an entire playthrough with the Golden Deer, so I think it's time to acquaint myself with a new house.
Since you are new here, we have decided to allow you first pick. Manuela and I will take charge of the remaining two houses.
Interesting, so we're not doing it by seniority here, then. Well, I think it's fair considering this is an RPG, and if they just sort of assigned you whatever house, that wouldn't be a lot of fun, so it makes sense they'd give the player the choice despite the fact that they're new. Anyway, it seems like an interesting logic there, that's all I'm saying. Which house will I choose? Well, oh, I'm totally going Black Eagles. No. And I've already done Golden Deer. Like I said in the first couple of episodes, I'm definitely going to go with Blue Lions. And I don't mean to joke around with you guys and be like, oh no, I'm switching houses at the last minute. I don't know. So I'm going to go with the Blue Lions.
So you have chosen the Blue Lions led by Dmitry, correct?
That is correct. Yes, this is my choice.
Your heart has made its choice, then. All I ask is that you guide these open minds with virtue, care, and sincerity.
Well, I will certainly try my best, and for those of you who haven't played the game, as you'll notice, there are now blue stripes on the top and bottom of the screen to reflect the choice. Now, of course, if you pick Black Eagles, the stripes are red, and if you pick Golden Deer, the stripes are yellow.
They are all promising youths who bear the weight of Fodlan's future upon their shoulders. I hope you appreciate what an honor it is to lead them.
Well, I will certainly try my best to appreciate it.
Brother? Oh, I am so sincerely sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
Well, hello there.
I'm in the middle of something, Flame. Is it urgent?
No, it's nothing. More importantly, who is this?
This is our newest professor at the Academy.
Oh my! A new addition to the Officers' Academy! I am so very pleased to meet you, Professor.
I am so very pleased to meet you as well.
I am Sedith's little sister, Flame. I am so happy to make your acquaintance.
Same here. It's nice to meet you, Flame. My name is Boudica.
Let us focus on the topic at hand. There is something you should be aware of.
Oh, okay. I guess we're not going to talk to Flame more then.
In a few days' time, there will be a mock battle between the three houses, intended to gauge the current progress of the students.
I see.
We will be using this battle as an opportunity to ascertain your own abilities as well. Please do not disappoint the Archbishop. That is all.
All right. I will try my best.
Wait, does this mean our new professor is... No, I really can't believe it! But I was speaking to you so casually, as though we were companions.
Oh, don't worry about it, Annette. Everything's cool. I don't mind.
Oh, I am so sorry, Professor. You just look the same age as the rest of us, and... Oh, and I'm sorry I just said that too. I really must watch my tongue.
Hey, it's okay. I don't mind if you treat me as a friend.
You say that, but I just don't know about all of this.
I mean, that's fair.
I'll admit, it doesn't sit well with me either. After all, we wish to show you due respect.
That's also fair.
Sure, but if the professor says it's okay, shouldn't that be enough? That is, if your highness can consent to such a thing. After all, we're already speaking this way to our future king, so we may as well relax our speech with our professor too, right?
I suppose I can understand the logic there.
Well, we're not in the kingdom, so it only goes to follow that we should all speak companionably. I concede. If the professor says it's fine, we ought to accept that kindness gratefully.
Alright, I guess we're all in agreement then, although I can understand the concerns there. I mean, our character is supposed to be a professor, and thus, there should at least be some level of some kind of politeness.
As for me, I'm not sure I can manage.
You don't have to force yourself if it's too difficult. You're fine with that too, right, Professor?
Oh, absolutely.
Such benevolence is a sight to behold. I don't suppose you would care to join me for tea. We could discuss education and marriage.
Sylvain, no. Sylvain, no.
Control yourself, Sylvain. I have more important matters to discuss with our new professor. Come to the training ground later. There, you will show me what you're capable of.
Ah, so you still want to fight me then? Okay, bring it on.
You aren't wasting any time, are you, Felix? As it were, count me in for any such battle.
Ah, so you want to fight me too? Okay, Dmitry, let's go.
Pardon me, but I would also love to observe you in battle for future reference, if that's okay with you.
Sounds good to me.
Ash, I won't have you speak of merely watching. You should join us as well.
Oh, well, that's a fair point.
If you get injured, simply say the word and I'll patch you up straight away.
Ah. Well, that makes sense, since Merced is the one skilled in healing magic, so... yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind.
Your Highness, do take care not to go overboard.
You worry too much to do. I'll be fine, I promise.
My companions, is there not something inherently wrong with crossing blades as a way to bond with each other?
I would say not necessarily, although it shouldn't be the only way to bond with each other.
Huh. I never thought of it that way. Well, if that's how you feel, I suppose you'll just stay behind while the rest of us are at the training ground?
Ingrid, my dearest friend, you really are too harsh on me.
Well then, Professor, what do you think? As you can see, the Blue Lion House is a lively bunch, but you'll find none who work harder.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because you guys will be working very hard from here on out, probably. And I will do my best to take care of you all and make sure you're all the best you can be.
I'm certain we'll cause our fair share of trouble, but I'm very much looking forward to the year ahead.
You know, that is a fair assessment. There are now new places to explore in the monastery. Okay, very interesting. I guess our world has just opened up a little bit. I say as, again, someone who's pretending to have no idea what they're doing, when in fact I know exactly what I'm doing. Seeing we've received 1,000 gold from the Church of Saros as funding for this month's activities.
Say, while you're here, I'd like to use this device I designed to determine whether the power of a crest resides within you. Won't hurt a bit. Promise.
Ah, so I guess we took Hanneman up on his offer. Well, alright, I guess you can do that if you like.
You don't know about crests? Well, allow me to tell you everything, absolutely everything about them. Is your calendar clear? This will take a while.
Oh boy. Yeah. Boudica doesn't know anything about crests, so feel free to give us a rundown of the basics.
Crests are a fascinating topic, but before one can dive deeply into said topic, one must first understand what crests are. They are power incarnate.
I see.
They are said to have been bestowed upon humans by the goddess countless ages ago. They exist within the flesh and are passed down through bloodlines.
I see, so they're inheritable.
Those who carry crests may excel at magic, display exceptional strength, or any number of boons.
I see.
Each crest has its own power, the nature of which is beyond mortal understanding. For now.
For now, he says. Which probably means we're probably going to find out a lot more about them in this game very soon. And you believe I have a crest?
I suspect as much, yes. But we won't know for sure unless I look into the matter.
I see.
As I said, crests are passed down through the blood. However, just because someone carries a crest does not necessarily mean their descendants will inherit it as well.
Ah, so it can skip generations. Good to know.
Only a scarce few descendants of a crest's bloodline end up inheriting that crest's power. Perhaps one of your ancestors bore a crest, and you just happen to inherit it.
That's a plausible theory.
That is how a crest usually presents itself, after all.
I see. Well, do what you can to find out.
Yes, of course. I'll get to the bottom of it straight away. Now then, please go ahead and hold out your arm over this device here.
Alright. Interesting.
What is this? A pattern I've never seen before. Is it possible an as yet undiscovered crest has been detected?
Ah, so there it is, our mystery crest.
To think there are still crests out there that even I am unaware of. How thrilling!
How thrilling indeed.
Ahem. Pardon my unrestrained jubilation. I have much to consider. You may leave now.
Alright, I guess I'll see you later then.
I have more research to do in regard to this crest. Yes, so very much more research. But for now, your work here is done.
Okay.
What could this line here be indicating? Perhaps it represents a lack of symmetry. Or perhaps...
He's really, really enthusiastic about this, which, I mean, if he's a researcher of crests, I can't fault him for. It's always a good thing to be very, very passionate about your work.
What in the world? Oh, I see. It may be connected to that, but to a greater degree than usual.
I wonder what this all means. After all, aren't crests usually handed down through the nobility? Well, handed down as if they're physical objects and not something that's inheritable genetically, it seems.
With each moon, professors of the Officers' Academy receive a schedule for the month ahead. It notes the days on which events and missions will take place that month.
I see.
Pay careful attention to your schedule, so that you may thoughtfully plan what you intend to do each month, and when.
Alright, and a few extra things here, but yes, unlike other Fire Emblem games, there is a calendar system here. And there are certain things you can only do on certain days. Now, the 27th day of Great Tree Moon is our first day off, and you can see the other options we can take are all kind of grayed out, so the only option we can do right now is explore. So this is my room. I thought I heard a girl's voice, but I must have been imagining things. So the first thing on the agenda is to speak with our house leader. And that is the bulletin board where we can access quests. So let's see, we have Fresh Catch, Green Thumb Beginnings, and Share a Bite, given by Flame, Dedoo, and Sylvane, respectively. Anyway, anything interesting around here? It doesn't look like it. So why don't we go talk to some people? Hello, Sedith?
These are the students' quarters. To better help you supervise them, you also have a room here. Your room is here at the end.
I guess that makes sense.
Commoner students also reside on the first floor, while the second is primarily for students of noble birth.
I see.
As a rule, we try to avoid discrimination based on social status here, but the nobility can be quite insistent when it comes to matters of propriety.
It seems like you're not too keen on that arrangement. I mean, don't you want to put a word in with Archbishop Raya about the matter? Then again, I suppose I can understand if they want to, keep the nobility happy and whatnot. Still, I don't really like that system, and it doesn't seem you do either, so I guess we'll just have to agree on that for now.
Speaking of, it would be best for you to avoid improper conduct. I expect you to set a good example for the students.
Well, I'll certainly try. Alright, so I think Dmitry is over that way. And there he is, talking to Dedoo. Hello, Dmitry. How are you doing today?
I hear there will be a mock battle soon. We must not neglect our training.
Oh, we most certainly must not.
I trust that you will carefully study the strengths and weaknesses of each of your students, that you may provide effective guidance.
Well, I'll certainly try my best.
Regardless of the results, this battle will be a great learning experience. Even so, what is the point of competition if the aim isn't to win?
Well, that's fair.
As this is your first time at the monastery, please allow me to show you the ropes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the help. Well, let's start with facilities.
Both students and teachers of the Officers' Academy are free to use the facilities within the monastery. For example, you can dine with others at the dining hall, or partake in one-on-one combat at the training grounds. I encourage you to wander around the monastery and lend an ear to the people living here.
I will certainly do that.
There are bulletin boards in various places around the monastery. Have you seen them, Professor?
Why, yes I have, and you'll notice I am going through these tutorials where I've been skipping a lot of them, because these are voiced, and I think they're a bit relevant to learning a bit more about the characters and stuff like that, so that's why I'm actually taking the time to go through these.
There you can find requests from various sources, as well as information about the market. If you fulfill these requests, you should eventually be able to use even more of the facilities here.
I see.
The bulletin board gets updated frequently. You would do well to check it once a month.
Alright, I certainly will. Alright, next on the list.
This probably goes without saying, but no matter which facility you use, it will take up a considerable amount of your time. It's helpful to plan out activities in advance, so that you don't mistakenly squander your time here.
That's fair, I'll keep that in mind. And nothing there, so last but not least.
Professors at the Officers Academy are expected to have exceptional leadership skills. Students and teachers alike must devote themselves to their studies and strive to acquire great wisdom, even outside their respective fields.
I see. Well, that's everything. So that's one quest complete, and unfortunately, we are out of time, so I am going to save and cut the video off here. Of course, if you enjoyed my video, you can subscribe to my channel or follow me on Twitter at LBD Let's Plays for further updates and content, or if you want to support me in other ways, you can buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/littleblackdragon. Thanks for watching, see you next time.